It's springtime, more specifically April 12th, 2022. And that can mean only one thing, and that's Resco's first release of 2022 is available. And that means also another thing, that we have a new edition of Resco webinar about the new features. So I welcome you, all our regular and new visitors today, and I would like to walk you through what will happen today. So first, the lineup. Today, we will talk about Resco version 15.0, which was released just a couple of days ago. Today, I'm very happy that we have almost the whole Resco product management team here at, basically the whole product management team here at the webinar, which means that my name is Juraj Mojik, I'm the head of product here at Resco, and I will be your host today. And I will be joined by all the product managers here at Resco. So Eduard Kesely, Michal Magnusek, Miroslav Majtas, Zuzana Barinkova, and Peter Matejk. I don't think we've had the chance to have all of the product managers at one webinar. And that means only one thing, which is that we have a lot of topics to cover. And before I tell you what we will talk about today, you are probably wondering how it will work. So just a quick reminder for those of you who have been with us is that this webinar, first of all, is being recorded and will be available on YouTube shortly afterwards. Also, all the attendees right now are in the listen-only mode. That means that you cannot ask questions by voice, but I highly encourage you to ask questions through the GoToWebinar window, which you already should have on your screen. So whenever something interesting or maybe not clearly answered or any other question that may pop up during the presentation as you are watching it, feel free to write it into the GoToWebinar window and we will answer it at the end of the webinar. This webinar, as it is quite packed, will take approximately 1 hour today, maybe a little bit more, but let's hope that we will also have the chance to answer all the questions from all of you. So, without further ado, let's look at the agenda of today. And here are the main topics which we will talk about, which is Resco inspections. We have a couple of cool new features there, so let's talk about those. Then we have Resco Houston prepared, because right now it's available, the Houston guides, in the Resco platform. So my colleague Zuzana will talk more about that. Then we have Resco Cloud integrations, and we will show you the demo of Business Central integration setup. For the first time in this webinar series, we've been talking about Resco and Business Central integration for a while, and now we will also demo it for you on this webinar. Then a lot of additions to the platform, like floor plans, schedule board enhancements, and many more. And we will conclude with the route planner enhancements. Of course, we will also have a little bit of interactivity within this webinar. There will be a couple of polls, at least 3 if I'm not mistaken, so we'll launch those as well. And for those attendees who are live with us today, they will be able to provide us with the answers, which we value very much. So I would like to start the first segment and invite Miro Majtas, my colleague, to talk about inspections. So I'll just turn off the webcam, and Miro, now the stage is yours.
Thank you, Juraj. Dear ladies and gentlemen, it's a pleasure to be here with you again. And today I'll tell you about the new functionality we added into inspections during the previous 3 months. First topic is reuse answers from a specific inspection. You may ask, Resco inspections already have the ability to reuse answers. So what is this all about? Yes, it's true that the answers from previous inspections can be used to automatically fill in questions of a current inspection, but there are some limitations of what the reuse fetch can do in terms of specifying the conditions for reusing answers. On the screenshot, we can only see the limited number of variables that can be used for the reuse fetch. And there's no way to add more. But why is this a problem? Why is it not enough? Our customers need to write more precise fetches. For example, when you need to be more specific about what questionnaire record should be reused. So let's say I'm doing a 1-year regular inspection and I need to reuse answers from the exact 1-year inspection questionnaire that was performed on asset MK62 a year ago. And I'm not able to do that at the moment. I'm not able to narrow down the list of records. And well, why is it actually a problem? Well, in practice, there is usually a lot of records that the reuse fetch will return for the technician, and some of them might not be valid for the current inspection. Besides, technicians do not have time and will to figure out what records to select, and it's an unnecessary burden for them. And if they select a wrong record, it can cause problems with the data integrity. So our goal was to allow definition of more precise reuse fetches that prevent technician mistakes and move from the situation on the left, where there is necessary to pick a right record from a list of records, to move to the situation on the right, when there is a narrowed down list of records that the reuse fetch returns. Maybe only one, the exactly one that I need. And the solution might not be immediately obvious, so let me explain. The problem with defining a precise fetch is caused by the lack of variables that would allow writing the right conditions, as we saw on the screen previously. In order to allow new variables to be used in the reuse fetch, first, we need to define them. We usually define variables in rules. We could try onload rules. But reuse fetch needs to fill in the answers before a questionnaire record is created, and therefore reuse fetch runs before that, before onload rules can be utilized. So, as none of the existing business logic types would be able to do the job, we created a new type of rules, onCreate rules. They allow us to define variables and rules that can fill those variables at the moment of questionnaire record creation, and thanks to that, they can be used by the reuse fetch. So on the screenshot, we see an onCreate rule with variables and logic defined that will allow us to write a more precise reuse fetch. So before, the situation was that only a couple of variables were available. After I define variables and rules for in the onCreate rule, I can see the list of variables is now longer. Let's take an example. A certain inspection is part of my work order, and I would like to reuse answer from a previous inspection that has the parameters defined on the work order. That means that the inspection was performed at the same client at VentureWorks, and the incident type was failure that happened on asset 01. I can write a rule with variables and subsequently a proper reuse fetch, corresponding reuse fetch that allows me to filter out the unmatching records from the results. So before, I would get a longer list of questionnaires that wouldn't take those conditions into consideration. After, I only see the records that match the conditions I defined in the rule on fetch. That means the client, the asset, and the incident type, right? So, to conclude, onCreate are new type of rules in Questionnaire Designer that run upon questionnaire creation and allow us to define more precise reuse fetches. Next feature is document roundtrip. Customer feedback on this one was quite straightforward. I'd like to create and edit documents directly from inspections. There is a variety of ways companies perform service work. Sometimes it's needed to attach a scheme, a drawing, or maybe a complicated document to a questionnaire. And while it is already possible to attach images and media to questionnaires, it would be nice to also open them from inspections. So our goal was to enable smoother experience when external tools and documents are involved, and allow document opening and saving directly from and to questionnaires. Document roundtrip has been around for quite some time in the Resco platform, but not inspections. Simply, it allows you to open a document attachment, say Excel or Word, from Resco mobile app and edit the document in its associated app. And after you finish making changes and edits to the document, you save it and you save the changes, and they are reflected in the document attachment in Resco after saving the form. So, can this document roundtrip be used also in inspections? Yes, but how to carry the document in a questionnaire? So, we thought about it, and it seems that the default value for image and media question would be the answer, would be the quick win for this situation. To recap the concept, how it works for inspections, let's explain it on a scheme. So I have a questionnaire template that is now able to carry a document in the image and media question. And thanks to that, I'm able to open the document directly from a questionnaire when I perform inspections or whatever. I'm able to edit the document in the respective app, save the changes, save the edits, and the changes are saved directly in the document attached to the questionnaire. I think it's going to be more obvious when I show you the demo. So I'm in a blank questionnaire. I've just added an image and media question. I'm gonna name it nicely, document roundtrip demo. And as you can see, I have a new option to attach a default value. In this case, it's gonna be an attachment. And I'm gonna add a PowerPoint document with a scheme that is pre-filled, and I'm supposed to finish it during my inspection. So I'll keep the questionnaire short in order to have a better clarity when I show it to you. So I need to save the questionnaire in order to use it within the app. And while it syncs, we can wait a little bit, and now it's synced. I'm gonna scroll down and go to the right template, which is roundtrip, and we can now see in the app how it looks like. I click on the attachment and I choose to view it, and from this view, from this document and media view, I'm able to open the actual PowerPoint document, and it's gonna open in the PowerPoint. So I'm gonna finish the scheme, save the document, quit PowerPoint, and we can see with the little asterisk that there are changes in the document. Now I'm going to save and close, and to make sure the changes are preserved, I'm going to view it again, open it in PowerPoint, and I can see that the changes have been preserved. So Documents can now be attached to a questionnaire template and used in a document roundtrip in situations when that's useful. Result Viewer, there are a couple of goodies we added within this release, and the first one is that you can run queries manually before when you did your filtering. All the changes were reflected automatically. The fetch was run automatically. Now you can select it to run manually. And the exports now support question labels instead of only supporting question names. Question labels can make the Excel or CSV reports more legible. A couple of things we did for reporting. I'll just briefly mention the first two. The advanced config UI is there for you to thoroughly configure the run report command. It's a welcome change. So instead of editing JSON file, now you can configure the run report command with a nice UI. And we added the ability to disable auto report in case you don't use them in questionnaires. And there are more things we added for inspections, not only for reporting. I suggest you go and visit our documentation page and learn about all the functionalities yourself. And now I'm going to turn it over to the next presenter, Zuzka, with guides in the platform.
Thank you, Miro, and hello, everyone. So my name is Zuzana Barikova, and I'm also a product manager here at Resco. And today I'd like to talk about Houston guides in the Resco platform. So as you probably know, Resco has a standalone product called Resco Houston, which is basically a product that's solving problems related to the lack of know-how. And in Q1, we are bringing guides from this product into Resco platform so that also the users of the mobile CRM application could benefit from it. So what are guides? Guides are step-by-step visual instructions. They can contain annotated images, text, paragraphs, some tips and tricks, safety warnings, as well as PDF attachments. What problems do they solve? They are mainly solving problems related to the knowledge gap or skill gap, so it can be lack of documented processes, lack of skilled workforce, or on the other hand, seasonal workers retiring and taking lots of the tribal knowledge with them. So what are the use cases? There can be many. It can be a new worker who is doing the job for the first time and needs instructions. It can be a worker who is doing a job on a critical equipment or job for a client who has strict SLAs and really need to solve the problems quickly. It can be an infrequent problem, or they can be used for training and onboarding. So how can they be used? Similarly to inspections, guides consist of three main components: library, editor, and the mobile viewer. If you want to start using guides, you first need to enable them in Woodford. So you go into your Woodford project, you click guides, you enable them, you associate guides with entities you want. Please note that once you associate entities, you cannot deassociate them. You can only add new ones. And you also need to either enable or disable feedback. Feedback is basically a feedback form that shows up after every guide. The default time trigger is set to 10 seconds, but you can adjust it. And you can also add guides to home. So once you have enabled guides in Woodford, you need to create guide categories, and you need to do so in the admin console. So you go into Manage Data, Guide Category, and you hit New, and you create new ones. Once you are done, you can go to the Guides Library and Guides Editor. So this is an example of how such a library can look like. You have filter on the left, navigating top bar, and the individual guides. And this is the visual of the editor. On the left, you have the cover and the individual steps. On the right, you have the media library where you need to import either images or PDFs. Those that have been used have the blue tag on it. the ones that have the red tag on it. You have also a top navigating bar. You can publish or unpublish the guides, preview them before publishing them, save them. You can also view feedback, so the aggregated feedback of the feedback forms that you have enabled, and you will soon be able to also share them. So let's have a look how it looks in practice. So this is my Resco Cloud organization. So I go into Woodford, into my project, and I enable guides. I associate them with entities. And I also enable feedback. I set the time trigger to, let's say, 12 seconds. I save the changes. I add guides to home as well to make it more convenient. I publish the changes. And the next step is to create the guides categories. So I go into the admin console, into manage data, guide category. If you cannot find the guide category, you need to click show system entities. Let's say I created maintenance category and some more. So now I go into the guides library. It's obviously empty, but on the left you can see the categories that I have created. And if you click new guide, this is how it looks. So you need to import the media into the media library to start creating steps. And this is how a library can look like once you have created the guides. So you can filter it according to the document states. The published guides are the guides available for the mobile users. The collected ones are the ones sent from mobile users to the backend. Once you click on a guide, you have the top bar menu enabled, and you can edit, duplicate, delete, share, or preview guides. Preview is very useful to see the guide before, let's say, publishing. And you also have the option, sharing will be available in Q2, but you also have the option to see the aggregated feedback, so the one that you enabled at the beginning. So let's have a look how it can look like. So it's very useful information for the person who is editing the guides. And this is the list view, where you can also see the authors of the guide. So let's say I've seen the feedback and I want to update an existing guide. So I have added a new step. I have added a PDF, so I drag and dropped it from the media library. I added title, description, warning, and I also want to edit image in step 4 based on the feedback. So I can use the fill option and I click the edit to open the image editor. So I can crop the image, I can use arrows, circles, drawing, change colors, and so on. I didn't save the changes in this occasion. And you go into Associate tab where you associate the guide with the category that I've created and the account. So let's have a look how it looks on the mobile application. So there have guides in the home menu. This is the list of guides, and this is the guide that I have updated. So very visual, easy to follow help, and with a PDF attachment that I have just added for some further instructions. And I can also attach guides as associated lists to entities that I have defined at the beginning to open the same guide. So this is just a short demo of some of the functionalities of guides. We haven't talked about harvesting or feedback collection, but we'll definitely talk about that next time. So what are the benefits? Is definitely higher efficiency in solving problems because you can find the relevant information much quicker. Efficiency in training and onboarding. You do not need to spend the time of your best experts on training newcomers. Some of this agenda can be done by the guides. And efficiency in having knowledge on one place, so you do not need to create instructions every time your worker goes into the field, but you can always direct him to the same guide and replicate it. Higher safety and quality, because we are working with consistency and standardization of processes, and definitely higher competitiveness, especially when we are talking about capturing the tribal knowledge from your seniors. Okay, apologies. Okay, and so to summarize, guides are available as a module on Resco Cloud. In Q2, we are working on bringing them on Dynamics. If you need further information, you can find the information on our Wikipedia. And if you have any questions, just let us know at houston@resco.net. One last thing from me is the poll, and I'll ask Yuri to run it.
So, as usual, I will run the poll, and then, of course, I will also show you the results. So, our first poll of today has the question, which problems do concern you the most? And it's a multiple answers, so we can select multiple options. First option is how to train on onboard new workers more effectively, how to pass know-how from the seasoned workers to new ones, how to instruct workers while doing inspections, or none of the above. Please click the last one only as the only option if it doesn't fit. And I see that we are getting some answers already, which is great. I will keep the poll open for a little bit longer. And in the meantime, maybe for the people who joined us later, I will also explain how the questions work. So if you have any questions to what you have seen so far during the presentation, if anything pops up, feel free to write it into the GoToWebinar window and we will answer it at the end of the webinar session. So I think we have most of the votes in. There are still some coming in, and I will be closing the poll soon. So if there are more, if someone else wants to add the vote, they can. Okay, I will close the poll and show you the results. So here you can see the results, and now I have to say that I was watching the results. And it wasn't it wasn't a tie, right? They were different values, but somehow in the end they all matched together, which is interesting.
This is not really helping us, Yuri.
Well, this is how our attendees see it. So as you can see, all of the options have basically the same amount. But as I said, it wasn't like this, and we can check the results later. So thank you everyone for voting. Thank you, Zuzka. And Michal, I think the stage is now yours.
Thank you.
Thank you, Yuri. Hi, everyone. Hi, fans of the Resco, and especially Resco Cloud fans. Today I will speak about the Resco Cloud integrations. So let's start with it. So my name is Michal Magnusek. I'm the product manager in Resco, and I'm responsible of Resco Cloud. Today the topic will be integrations, and the topic will be especially the Business Central, because as you know previously on last webinar I was talking about the integration between Resco Cloud and the Business Central. Today we will continue with this topic because we did some enhancements of this integration. So let's take a look on it. You know that we have a couple of ways how to integrate with Business Central, and one of those, which is completely under the Resco Cloud integration and the direct integration with the Business Central, we did a couple of enhancements. So let's take a look on it. So what we did is that we enhanced the batch data processing while uploading. So this is something what speed ups the integration itself. We have also ability to define value mapping of enum fields. So the list of values can be mapped to fields between the two systems, Resco Cloud and the Business Central. You're able to connect two dates, or let's say two fields, date and time fields, into the one field in the Resco Cloud, because Business Central has this specific situation that the date and time fields are separated into two fields. So you're able to map it to the one field, and I will show you how it looks. Also, we have authorization to all data service. So if you use the security tool, you're able to do this authorization within the Resco Cloud integration, and you're able to run processes during the synchronization. So this is something that helps you to do it simultaneously. Well, okay. Regarding also this integration, we have news, and especially of the Business Central, because Business Central has also these two specifications, that there are datetime fields separated, and also enum fields are really important for mapping, for example, the service order, which is super important in the case when you connect Business Central and Resco Cloud, and you would like to have also the status of the work order or the service order synced between these two systems. So we did these enhancements on the OData level, but the driver of this integration or these features was mostly the Business Central integration. Let's speak about the default mapping and the Resco integration with the Business Central, which we did like for the default setup of the integration. So we are mostly focused on the field service scenario because we are field service specialized. So the service order and work order is something what we connect with the customer and account, and obviously with the contact to know where to go. And there are a couple of enhancements regarding the service item line, and we did it like a structure of the work order. So we have a parent work order, we have child work orders, and there is a connection for each work order, that there is a connection between item, resource, and cost. So you're able to synchronize these connections and data from the Business Central to Resco Cloud, including the units of measure. We did a couple of enhancements of the Business Central extension to have access to the Business Central data. So if you would like to do the integration, you need to open the doors to the Business Central, and you can do it within the extension which we provide to our partners, and you can customize it, depends on your needs. What we did is that the complete repository of these connectors is publicly available, so you can take a look on how it looks. You can customize it. You can check everything written in the documentation regarding this extension. You can download it and make some adjustments based on your needs. Okay. So, Resco integration setup, as I mentioned, it is something what you can completely handle within the Resco application, so you don't need to care about any other middleware. If you want to do it directly, you're able to do it. You should go to Woodford. It's a simple and fast setup, so you don't need to care about another third-party system. It's directly in Resco, and it's available also for trial users. So if you would like to test it, you can do it also within the trial version of the Resco Cloud. And today I will show you how it looks live on the demo of the integration setup. So let's start with the demonstration. So if you would like to do the setup of the integration, you should go to the web application in the manager role. So be sure that you're in the manager application in the web app. You should find the app configuration in the left menu, or you can do it directly from the home, where it's like app configuration icon. So here you're in the Woodford. As usually, everything what should be customized and integration included is directly in the Woodford, and you should go to the integrations. It's still in the preview because we are enhancing this integration, but it's already there to test and to try your own integration. If you would like to create the integration, just hit the new button, and the things which we need to know is the name of the integration, the connector. We have two types of the connectors. It's OData or the Resco Cloud, depends what you like to integrate. We have the URL here, so we need to have the information where is the endpoint where to connect. Especially the Business Central has an endpoint for the OData integration. Username, password, and custom query, which is in the Business Central, for example, the company ID or the parameter of the company itself. But maybe it would be better to take a look on the existing one because I have the pre-filled information here. So I will select my existing integration and hit Preferences and Properties. So I have the name, I choose the OData. If you would like to know more about the integration, you can find directly here. So the setup is listed in our wiki. URL, username, obviously password, and custom query, as I mentioned before. So here is the Kronos organization to connect directly to that one. Okay, that's it. Let's open the integration and take a look on how to customize the integration itself. So here it is. Okay, on the left side, I see the list of external entities. In this case, it's the Business Central list of entities, which we get within the OData API. All of them, they are disabled by default, but a couple of them we enable because we did some work at the beginning, so we can just test it. As I mentioned, we have the pre-filled configuration here. So here I have some couple of entities selected. This one is disabled. So if I would like to enable it, I just hit enable and I can configure it. Depends on my preferences. But I can go to that one which is already enabled, and we can take a look on how it works and how it's completely set up. So here I have the entity name. I can select the directions of the synchronization. There are 3 ways: bidirectional, sync, and upload. Here is the local entity. So I'm mapping basically the external entity to the local one. I can do the primary key definition and composite lookup. And the last thing is the version number to identify the version of the record while doing edits and creations. Other things are listed here, so everything what you would like to set up is directly in the table of the mapping. Let's take a look on the work order, especially. It's also enabled by default. Here is the setup and list of mapped fields. So here I see that I have 5 fields automatically enabled here with the predefined mapping of the primary key, the definition of composite primary key here, because it's defined like a document type, and the number field. So it's a composite primary key. And I have also the version number, which is the raw version number to identify the version of the record. Here I have the external fields all selected. I have the external types, and I can map to the local type of the field to be sure that there will be no implicit conversion. Here is the value mapping. By the way, that's the thing which we added during this release. So in this mapping, I'm able to define the mapping of the values. So I have the enum field, and all values in external system can be mapped to the local value here. So I'm selecting, for example, done as a completed. And that's the thing to map the values. I have also some fallback here. I can select the user value, or I can use the default value. Use value means that I will force the system to send the data which I generated in the external system. Or I can select the default value, which will be, for example, pending and draft. So this will be like a fallback in each case that I will receive the value which was not set up as the enum in the mapping. And there is also another fallback to throw exception. So I will get a warning that the value was not mapped. So that was about value mapping. And one additional thing regarding this release is the datetime. So let me go to another record or to another entity. Ta-da-da. Let's check them here. I have the external entity, local entity, and sync direction. And I can take a look on the primary key, also identified, but now it's combined from 3 fields, and also row version number already set up. So here are the fields which are enabled, and one of those is also the shipping time, which is the time field. So I can take a look on the values which are defined here. So external entity, target external field, this everything is pre-filled based on your preference. And here is the datetime mapping, which is the new one. In this case is the shipping time, so I can select that this value will be time only. As I mentioned, the Business Central has this specific thing that there are fields and date and times are divided into 2 fields. So I'm able to let's say, combine two different fields into one local field in the Resco Cloud. So if there will be a date and time separated, I can select the same field in the local system and connect both of those into one system in Resco Cloud. So in this case, I will leave time only because it's the shipping time here. Okay. And that's it. The setup is done. What I can do here is that I can select what kind of synchronization will be, if it will be upload, download, or let's say import and export. But the most important part of this is that you are able to customize it, and run it depends on the rules in the processes. So it can be triggered based on time or some action in your records. So that can be, for example, some customization of the processes, that there is a moment when the synchronization should start, and you can also schedule when the synchronization should be performed. Yeah, that's it. That was about the demonstration, and let's jump into the poll. So please, Yuri, if you can.
Yes, so the second poll of today. Let me launch it. You should be seeing it on the screen. And the question which we are asking here is, if you are using Business Central as a solution to provide field service tool for service technicians. Now let me help you with the answers. So the first one is that you are using Business Central also for the field service capabilities which are in Business Central. The second option is that you use Business Central, but for field service you use another solution. The third option means that you use field service solution which is integrated with Business Central, right? So you use another solution for field service, but it's integrated with Business Central. And the final option is that you are not using Business Central at all. So I see that we are getting some options, so I will let, some answers, so I will let some more people to vote. Okay, and I will be closing the poll soon. So let me just give you a couple of more seconds, and then we'll be closing the poll. And as usual, I'll show you the results. So the poll is closed, and let's share the results. So the majority of our live viewers today are not using Business Central, which I kind of understand because it's a new topic for Resco. So of course the partners and customers that we have until this point probably are not using it. But we also have some attendees that actually are using a field service solution integrated with Business Central, 6% of the answers, and another 6% of the answers is about another solution but without integration with Business Central. So what do you say, Michal?
Yeah, we have balanced results today. I see it again. Yeah, obviously, a lot of our customers, they use another solutions for the ERP or solution for the back office people. But yes, regarding the answer number 2 and answer number 3, it's completely balanced. So we need to analyze it by another way, not just only by using the polls. But thank you for your answers, and looking forward. If you have any questions, just write them to the question in the webinar. Okay, thank you so much.
Exactly. So, Michal, maybe one more slide, and then I think.
I forgot one more thing about the collaboration. If you have any questions, you can contact me directly. So Michael Magnusek here. Thank you so much, and see you later.
Thanks, Michal, and now Edo with the platform additions.
Thank you very much, Michal. So, good morning, good afternoon, good evening to everybody listening to our spring webinar. Our webinar is fully packed with the features, and I will try to make it more interactive. So it will be not only about the pictures, but about some kind of animated stuff. So let's start with the first topic, first enhancement, which is called floor plan enhancements. As you probably know, we are using tagged images for functionality called floor plans, which we already released last year during the winter release. And we definitely enhanced it according to the feedback. We have delivered the minimum viable scope, and we wanted to have it to bring it to the more useful scenarios. So basically, we integrated a couple of new stuff into the floor plans. So first of all, what have been the customer problems? Main issue people have with this functionality when it has been released, there was no possibility to zoom in or zoom out, right, in the current solution. There was no details on the tagged images, so it was really very, difficult to find what was searched for. Our goal with this feature, as we know that this feature is mainly focused on the field technicians, and we definitely know that one of the most important and most prevailing problems for field technicians is to locate and to find the asset. We wanted to bring technicians a useful tool how they can easily locate any kind of equipment or asset, or basically the install asset. So let me lead you through our solution, what we have brought up. Our solution, it's these tagged images or floor plans can be easily configured through our wood fort. It can be added on any entity form. As you can see, there is a new addition which is called tagged image. Then another stuff what we added, zoom in and zoom out. Easy solution for the technicians or for the managers to locate any valuable assets or any assets they are looking for. As you can see from the animated picture, it's easy to navigate it by touching the plus or minus button. It's compatible with the normal or touch screens. Another addition into the floor plans we have brought is that we are also bringing the possibility how these tags should be displayed. Whether they will be with the details like labels or they will be just compact on the floor plan. So there is also possibilities to change the colors, change their details, and everything is configurable in the wood fort. Another addition to the floor plan is that, as you can see, as a technician, I can really easily add any new record directly from the tagged image by just moving and drag and dropping whatever I would like to add there, and it will pop up or it will show me the new form, where, for example, in this case is an asset form. When I will just write the new asset, some information, and just save it. So it's really easy for technicians, for example, to install the new asset. So now tagged images, they can be very useful, and definitely I wanted to show you some quick video how it can be used by technicians in the field. This video is from the perspective of the technician. When they are trying to locate some asset and have or gather some information related to that asset. So let me show you this. First, we will start with the mobile application, and the technician would like to find out the asset. So technician will click on the asset tree. Technician can locate, for example, some functional location. Technician can see, for example, what is under that location, what kind of asset or sub-assets like AC, like a server. Also, technician can see what is available on the floor plan, can see from the legend or where it is everything located, can basically create the new records, or can directly click on the asset, can see the form, can see more information about the asset, where it is located, can see the properties, also the reading in the graph or in the chart form, and basically all these kind of necessities or necessary information like last maintenance jobs or the maintenance history. So everything what is really necessary, it's really available in the hand of the technician. Okay. Now it's time to take another short break and to launch the poll. So I would like to ask Juraj just to launch the poll.
Yeah, let's do it. I'm pretty sure that with this one, there shouldn't be that many surprising results, but let's see. Today is an interesting day for our polls. So what we want to know, because what you see are the additions to our mobile application, of course, what do you see as the most valuable feature of Resco mobile app right now? And here we want you to select just one of the options. So you cannot select multiple, even though they might be usable. Select the one which you feel is the top feature, the one which you really rely on and cannot live without in Resco. We of course are getting some votes in. Yeah, I can see it's like a battle of the bars. There are two features that are actually battling. So yeah, let's see. We have quite a few votes already in, so I'm tempted to close the poll soon. So if you still want to submit your vote, now are the final seconds, and I will be closing the poll. So let's close it. And as usual, let's share the results with you. So, plan of appointments, not very useful, or not the top feature. Probably quite useful, I would say, but not the top feature for our partners and customers watching this webinar. Execution of digital questionnaires was fighting with the offline capabilities, and this is the result. So yeah, 14% difference. Capturing time and material visibility of CRM data, you can see on the screen. So, Edo, any comments?
So basically, it was a close winner, and I think it's also confirming that we are going the right direction. That questionnaires are really important and will be important in the future, and definitely together with offline capabilities. So thank you very much for submitting your answers.
Okay, hiding the poll, and Edo, you can continue.
Okay. Thank you very much. So let's continue. The next one is related more to the schedule board, as we are investing quite a time into the enhancement of the schedule board. And the next feature is called editable tooltip dialog. So there are several problems as well with using of the schedule board, right? For example, how can I easily change schedule date for the work order, but really easy way? Where can I see all the important information about my work order schedule? So let me show you how it can be achieved and what was our goal in this one. We definitely would like to increase adoption of the schedule board. It's a very used functionality within our platform, and we in the future our aim is to continuously update and improve the experience for the scheduling for the dispatchers and schedule managers. So, and how? By bringing outstanding user experience and by bringing more enhanced functionality. So what was our solution? First, what we did on the schedule board, we removed current work order schedule dialog on the schedule board. If you remember, it's a small dialog with a lot of information there. And we redesigned the tooltip dialog, which I will show you right now how it looked like and what you can do with that. So, this is how it looked like. As you can see, the yellow small dialog, after you mouse over some work order schedule or just click on it, you can basically edit it right after from this small dialog. You can see all the necessary information or important information about the work order schedule. You can change the status, work order start or work end, or duration or combination of those timings. You can also see there any kind of conflicts, or there can be also a paired drop-down menu for the inspection questionnaires, for example. So everything should be accessible right away. Another enhancements is something which I really like because it also opened a lot of use cases, and I will show you which ones. It's called preferred time, and there was also problems for the schedulers or for the scheduling managers or for dispatchers that our scheduling do not reflect preferred time when service visit should be executed, or there was no reflection on the schedule board and the schedule board was not offering some preferred window like visually and functionally when some jobs can be scheduled or is recommended to be scheduled. So we have been aiming to, with this, we wanted to reflect preferred visit time during scheduling. For example, some work needs to be finished by some date, or to finish the work tomorrow afternoon, or finish the installation next week. So there was no exact date, but some kind of gap or time window. So what was our solution with that? First of all, this functionality requires some more information to be added on the schedulable source. And we have added the new fields, preferred window start and preferred window end, which defines when should be something started or and ended, some kind of time gap or time period. It's also configurable through the Woodford. It can be easily found under the schedule board configuration and under the tab source. And there can be, for example, configured whether it should be mandatory to schedule only within the preferred time window, or it's just recommended. So let me show you these two cases, how it is being visualized and what can scheduler do with that. First one, we will take a look at the schedule board when this is configured that it's allowing scheduling only within time window. As you can see, if I will just pick up some kind of work order with predefined preferred time frame, it's only allowing me to schedule within that time frame. Also visually, as you can see, there is a small gap where I can schedule it. I cannot schedule it outside it. Or, for example, there can be work order or any kind of schedulable source with defined only the end date. So basically, for example, I would like to finish the work by the end of the month. So it's also visually interpreted on the schedule board. There is another approach that is not so strict, but these preferred time frames are only just recommended or offered to the schedulers. And as you can see from this example, it's being highlighted that time frame where something is recommended or preferred, but I can still schedule outside of that window. So I hope that you like that. So let's move forward with another stuff. It's a new login methods. What is it about? So one of the most crucial problems when it comes to the logins, whether it's some application or some web application, some portal, that users are forgetting credentials, whether it's username or password. Even 80% of the users forget credentials when they are logging into some web app or portal. We wanted to prevent this or to bring some more better solution for that one. So our goal was to let users they can easily log in, and we are bringing more login or authentication options. Default one would be, as it is right now, that username and password, we are using email and password. Then you can choose another possibilities how you can authenticate your users accessing those organizations. You can choose, for example, alternative username. Any field can be selected, like the username will be name. The username can be mobile number or something else. Then also you can choose the combination of alternative username and password combination. For example, that the username will be email address and the password will be one-time code. It's also possible and it's also working. We are also in the future, we are working on another method that which is, for example, combination of the mobile number and the one-time SMS code, which we would like to also bring some solution. Okay. And one more bonus, one of the biggest values of the software dealing with the maintenance solutions is that managers or business user would like to have everything under control. So this is just the showcase, this is just the preview, and I wanted to show it to you, for example, what is possible, what we can do, what you can do with the platform, and what are the possibilities. So first of all, what was the problem? Why we did this is that, for example, managers were complaining that they cannot see maintenance status of all their assets in one place, right? And it would be brilliant, or it would be cool if there will be some solution like this. So our goal was to bring more value to digital maintenance solution, right? To the field service solution, to that business user have everything under control. So what is our solution to that? What we brought, we have developed the plugin capable of checking the status of the maintenance jobs. before I will show you the plugin, how does it work, and with some demo, I would like to show you how does it work in our system, the preventive maintenance, and how it is being solved in our platform. So this is just some kind of really brief description that you can have an asset or any kind of equipment, and which can have maintenance jobs. So basically some preventive maintenance, which is stating that, okay, every single week you need to do some kind of maintenance or some kind of inspection. Then date is created and the system is capable to auto-create work orders. So what is doing that plugin? That plugin is doing is looking at the last maintenance status, what has been done, and the next maintenance status. So basically the plugin is looking whether there is some planned date for the maintenance or some created work order and what is the status of it. And also is looking into the future. And the result can be everything is okay, or it's overdue, or it needs attention, or there is some work order which is not scheduled and need to be scheduled as soon as possible. So let me show you, for example, some configuration, how it can look like and how this control panel can work. I will show you the manager web experience, and I will try to show you how managers can see the status of the equipment or of the serviceable assets. As you can see, the manager can click on the maintenance control panel, can see from the tree view the status of every single asset there, for example, whether it's okay or whether it's not. He or she can go into the details and can look at the childs of the asset. For example, can see whether there is any kind of problem, like in this case with the blades. Can see, for example, on the form that there is some problem with the maintenance job, with the plant maintenance, with some kind of preventive maintenance. And in this case, for example, there is a problem that there is also work order generated, which is ready in the system, but it's already overdue for 2 weeks. So the manager know that something needs to be done, and this case need to be fixed. And just to mention, if there is any kind of more complex hierarchy of assets, that this plugin also can show the summary status of all the child assets, and basically it simulates the functionality of the roll-up fields. So if, for example, one child asset has overdue maintenance status, the parent asset will have overdue maintenance status as well. So from my side, that's it. Thank you very much for the attention. And I would like to invite another speaker, Peter.
Okay, thank you, Edo. Hi, everyone. My name is Peter, and today I will tell you more about updates that we have made in relation to our tool Route Planner. Okay, Route Planner received update that is related to its design. I believe now it's more clean and easier to understand. So without further ado, I will jump right into explaining the individual appointments and what we can see here. So right in the center of attention will be the name of the appointment, so it's easier to understand where the person is heading. It's basically the name of the account or contact, or it basically depends on your individual settings what will be displayed there. The next information is time of the visit, or basically the start and end of that visit and its duration. Below that we have opening hours, which indicates when your user can visit their customers or should not visit them. Then we have icon that indicates that appointment can be rescheduled. This means that you can drag and drop this appointment to another position, or it also means that when you run optimization process, that this appointment can be given different time slot. In opposite, this small lock indicates that this appointment is basically fixed, and even after you run optimization process, this appointment will stay in its original time slot. Then we have here travel time, distance from previous location, and arrival time. You have also maybe realized that there are two different types of icons with two different types of names of those appointments. One is bold, one is italic, and what this means is basically that you can play with your appointments within your route planner, and that some of them can be already saved, which means they are recorded in the systems. They have solid icon, they have bold font, and it means they are saved. Second ones are with transparent icon, with dots, and they are italic. This means that those appointments are still not saved, they are still drafts, and will not be saved as you see them in a system, or they won't be visible in your CRM before you save them. We have also redesigned icons for warnings. This icon close to arriving time means that your user might not manage to arrive on time, and the second icon indicates that they have organized their visit, which is outside of schedule, outside of opening hours of your client. Then we have added new optimization settings. They can be found on the top right corner, on the right side, and they are called optimization settings. You click on them and it will open for you 3 different settings. First is buffer time for visit, which can be used when you want to add some extra time for the user to, let's say, move from parking spot to the place of the appointment. Second settings is time increments for visit start, which means that optimization process will round your visit starts to whole 5, 10, 15 minutes. And the last settings is called flexible visit start, and this one can be used in 2 different settings. First one is prefer earlier, which you can see there, and you can choose this one if you prefer to leave from the previous place right after your appointment ends or right after your day starts, or you can choose prefer later, and this one you choose if you want to arrange your arrival time as close to visits as possible. Okay, so this would be it from myself, and I will give the word to you, Ryan.
Thank you, Peter, and thank you, everyone from the team. So we reached the end of this webinar, almost. What's still left is, of course, the questions and answers. So once again, if you have any question that you would like to have answered, feel free to write it into the GoToWebinar window. Before I wrap up our session, I see we are a bit over time, so I will try to be quick. Just a quick reminder, as always, you can find full release notes with all the features, because we only showed you the subset of them which we find most interesting, in our Resco wiki documentation page, docs@resco.net, or you can use the bit.ly link that you can see on the screen. So let me get to the final section, which is questions and answers. Let's see quickly what we have there. Okay, so I don't see any questions which I think require our immediate response right now. Of course, we'll get back to some of you via email. I see some comments around the functionalities, like that you like the tagged image functionality, which we appreciate. But as I said, since we are a bit over time, let's not go into any of those questions that are there right now and conclude this webinar. So thank you very much for your attention today, and I hope we will see each other, hear each other also next time, which would be our summer release, so probably sometime around July. So once again, thank you and see you next time.